The following segment is sponsored by LT Gray Silver Corp., trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol ELS.V and on the OTCQX as EGRTF. LT Gray Silver Corp. is focused on silver exploration and development in prolific Sonora State, Mexico. Find them on the web at ltgraysilvercorp.com. Join me for a conversation with a frequent guest of the show, David Morgan, the Silver Guru, an expert on money, metals, and mining, also a lecturer and an author. Mr. Morgan has written Get the Skinny on Silver Investing, available on Amazon.com. His website is themorganreport.com. David, welcome back to the program.
Great to be with you, Ellis.
Now, you referred me to an article published in King World, and the overview is that inflation eventually causes turbulence and then chaos. What's your take on this particular article that you sent my way?
Well, several things. First of all, let's give thanks again to Eric King of King World News. He certainly put up a lot of great information over the last few years since he started King World News. This article in particular caught my attention. I mean, the title of it is Mega Crisis Will Force Gold to Re-Enter the Global Monetary System. And if you go back in time and look at the history of money, which I've spent a fair amount of time doing, the short version, and this is a broad brush stroke, so there's going to be some details that are left out that you could argue about, but basically you have fiat currency chaos, go on a gold standard stability, go off a gold standard chaos, go back on a gold standard stability, and on and off it goes. And that's, again, a very broad brush. So he's suggesting we're in chaos or going toward more chaos, and then we'll be forced on to gold standard again. I'm not so sure. Certainly that's been the history in the past. One thing about the gold standard I want to mention before I get started is as good as a gold standard can be, it never works for very long. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Gold is a policeman on the currency. It mandates the government that they can't overprint and that type of thing. But in reality, you cannot control human nature. You can legislate law after law, you can do edict after edict, and yet you cannot control what people will do. And you can control maybe the majority, but not everyone. So what's happened in the gold standards in the past is they get corrupted. And the United States recently, the most recent one, is they printed more money than there was gold available. And the purpose of a gold standard is for honesty, for integrity, for you cannot do that, but it's done. So the idea, I'm a gold bug, but I'm a realist, and the real truth is that these systems, unless you go to a gold coin standard, period, where there is no monetary substitute whatsoever. In other words, if you're legal to write a receipt for a piece of gold, that would be a little bit cumbersome. I mean, I'm trying to be more in theory. It doesn't work over time. It gets corrupted. So that's the point. So gold standard, as good as it is, isn't perfect, and they get corrupted. That's point number one. Point number two is, in today's system, will we go back to a gold standard of some type in the global monetary system, as this gentleman points out? I don't know. I would maintain, as we go through the article, that I agree with most of his points in his premise, that the electronic system with the Bitcoin thing, with the special drawing rights that are being resurrected, I don't know that that will take place. Neither does he. I don't like to say that, but in a way, it's true. No one really knows the future. So I suspect there could be other types of systems that are resurrected with a different type of currency or electronic database or resource-based economy or based on oil or based on a combination of commodities or based on a combination of currencies. I think it's more likely to combine currencies into a basket and call it some kind of new currency that combines the euro, the dollar, and the yuan, and make those three into a new basket, which is now the globo.
If we're ruling out the gold standard, after all, how would the supply of gold ever be verifiable? If we're ruling out the gold standard, how over time can gold continue to have value unless you can physically trade it for the acquiring of goods or services?
Yeah, excellent point. I mean, that's the whole deal, is that Charles de Gaulle under Jacques Rueff, how we pronounce it, was told by his economists that, look, the United States is overprinting. They don't have nearly as much gold as they have paper dollars. De Gaulle called a bluff and started taking gold, and that was draining what they call the gold window. And that's why Nixon in August 15, 71 closed it. You can't verify it. If it's an electronic transfer of some type, it's pretty tough. And that's why private banking might even be better.
We'll be right back. The Ellis Martin Report is sponsored by LT Gray Silver Corp., trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol ELS.V and on the OTCQX as EGRTF. Silver has been considered a precious metal for 6,000 years and currency since 600 BC. It's been commercially mined in Mexico since 1530 in mineral-prolific and mining-friendly Sonora State. El Tigre's properties with gold and silver mining concessions span 215 square kilometers, or 83 square miles. With an attractive share structure and a strong, proven management team, El Tigre Silver Corp is poised to identify a resource in an area that from 1903 to 1938 produced 75 million ounces of silver and 380,000 ounces of gold. Additionally, their tailing stockpile is currently progressing to production. Learn more about El Tigre Silver Corp by visiting their website, eltigresilvercorp.com, or click through El Tigre's logo on the homepage of our website, ellismartinreport.com.
We offer expert opinions only. Find them on our website, ellismartinreport.com. That's ellismartinreport.com.
And we're back. So what are your final thoughts about this article, David?
Well, a couple of things. He talks about Howard Buffett, which was a senator. It was Warren Buffett's dad, who once called the gold standard a silent watchdog that prevented unlimited government spending. But as outlined earlier, it doesn't really prevent it. The governments go ahead and do it anyway. Another one, I think, is that gold and peace are inseparably linked. I agree with this gentleman's article on King World News that there's a lot more liberty and prosperity under an honest system, and gold is better than anything else that we've tried. Then he goes on to talk about, according to Roy Jastrom, the United States and Britain could look back on a period of joint price stability for 350 years, and that comes from Jastrom's book, The Golden Constant, which have one of my Bibles in the series. He also wrote Silver, the Restless Metal. So anyone really interested in getting deep into this topic could take a look at any of Roy Jastrom's work. He's pretty good, in my view, of what he has written about gold and silver. So that's how I would sum it up.
Well, it seems that since gold has been such a valuable commodity for so many years, with the sideways slip into virtual currency, more paper, bitcoins, etc., this can only be good for those who hold on to the precious metal, correct?
Well, I think everyone should have a portion of precious metals. You know, I'm not one that says 100%, but definitely I think in today's world, if you don't own some precious metals, you are not cognizant of what's happening around us.
David, again, thanks so much for joining me today on the program. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Welcome. Appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye.
I've been speaking with analyst and newsletter writer David Morgan. His website is themorganreport.com. You can listen to the segment again on the podcast page of our website, ellismartinreport.com, or on iTunes. This segment has been sponsored by El Tigre Silver Corp, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol ELS.V and on the OTCQX as EGRTF. El Tigre Silver Corp is focused on silver exploration and development in prolific Sonora State, Mexico. Find them on the web at eltigresilvercorp.com.